red, blue, purple light. Friends, red, blue, purple light. Friends, facts, red, blue, purple light. Friends, red and blue, purple light. Friends, facts, you can get to know the ledger, sacrilegious Sunday to melanin Monday. You can get to know the ledger, my love. Just open your third eye on Thursday. Lord, the food, the art, the clothes, the Vatican's getting exposed fast. We put the show on the road, you better stay on your toes. I was till the land focused on the ego. Then I opened my heart, let go of the ego. Grand after grand, we stacking up these C notes. Facts, facts, yeah, we gon' put this shit on our backs. Facts, facts, we in your city, pull up where we at. Facts, facts, peace, love and light. Peace, love to the family. Peace, love and light. To the family. Peace, love and light. To the family.
These days and time, black man, is going to be the time that you have been waiting for. You came here for a reason. Whatever pressure, whatever adversity, whatever the fuck you feel, I don't know what you feel, but whatever you may be feeling is going to push you, and it's going to provoke you, and it's either going to make you or break you, similar to how pressure busts pipes or the shit makes diamonds.
Peace to the family, peace to you and yours. Peace to the family, peace to you and yours. Welcome to another episode of Saturday Night Live. You are now rocking with the best. Yes, this is your host for the evening, Brother Red Pillar. And I got a special guest in the building soon to be joined. Hold on. What the hell? Okay. I just making sure the microphone was on. Microphone check 1 2. Let me know how we sound on the audio, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know how we sound on the audio. You dig? All right. Let me know how we sound on the audio. Peace to the family. Everybody pulling up in the building. This one right here, all right, is going to be another one of those ones. This is one of those ones. Make sure you got your pen and your pad on Deckington. You feel me? This is one of those ones leading up. Hallelujah. Leading up to Sunday sermon. Brother Red Pillar gonna take the pulpit with the good brother, the deacon Blue Pillar, aka Pope Pablo. Yeah, we gonna hit that pew and we gonna cook up late night on a Sunday. Yeah, when all the fish is getting cold in the basement. Yeah, we gonna turn it up Sunday night. You know, I'm talking about Netflix and chill. Netflix and chill. Yeah, you better roll up. No, you better roll up. We'll have a smoke break tonight, but you better roll up. You better scroll up. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, we smoking on that Kirkwood. Hallelujah, that Kirkwood. And you better roll up. You better scroll up. Yeah, on Deckington. On Deckington, the hell. But shout out to everybody that was in the building last night with Black Magic. Fire show right there. Oh my goodness. Fire show right there. What the hell? This day. I got a new one.
got a new one.
The Pillar and Dillard. Huh? The Pillar and Dillard. When them two come together, man. Hold on now. Watch out now. Watch out. Watch out now. Watch out. The Pillar and Dillard. Yeah, she was on one last night. You know what I'm talking about? Shout out to 363 Empire. If you didn't catch that, I'm sure we'll be able to drop the link in the chat with the mods. Shout out to all of my mods in the building. You smell me? But yeah, we are continuing the series that we had started up, leading up to a big day tomorrow, where we are going to be rolling out number 10 in the series of American Gods. We've been doing this for a very long time, and we're also going to be giving y'all MAGA Fest 2.0, something that me and Blue Pill stand by. We're very proud of this series. We've been cooking this thing up, man. We started this in February with MAGA Fest 1.0, and I'm pretty sure that the collective perception of what a MAGA Fest destiny is more clearer today than it was in February. So we are right on time. The timing is immaculate. The timing is what do they call that? Divine intervention. The timing is tied into divine intervention, because look at the world right now. What we need more than anything is in some damn instruction, because this shit right here, we got to make sense of what's going on. If not us, then who? Not to be braggadocio or any type of egotistical trait, but nah, it's time for the reporters to report. It's time for the teachers to teach, and it's definitely time for the leaders to lead and whatnot. So we popping out on Sunday night. Let's go to a quick commercial so we could warm it up, go to pay a few bills and whatnot. Let the family know that we here. Spread the word, ladies and gentlemen. Let your people in your network know that we live tonight. We got a classic already on the way. Please believe me, man. But check this out.
Sunday, September 28th at 7 p.m. This is not just another live stream. This is prophecy meeting politics, myths colliding with money, and ritual revealed in real time. On Sunday, September 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the stage is set. American Gods, MAGA Fest Destiny, Part 10. Featuring the twin pillars, Red Pill and Blue Pill, joined by the firebrand voice of Hitsu Aku. For one night only, on Zoom, we decode the hidden architecture of America's mythos, how names, symbols, and movements shape the very destiny of nations. This is the lecture everyone will be talking about. The headline beneath the headlines. Seats are limited. The world is watching. The time is now. Don't just read history, decode it. Don't just witness the myth, step inside it. American Gods, MAGA Fest Destiny, Part 10th of September 28th, 7 p.m. Live on Zoom. Secure your ticket today, because destiny doesn't wait.
Yes. And let me go ahead and cue this up, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be our special guest for the evening. Let me go ahead and cue up this commercial. Here we go.
Live and direct from the mothership. This not gonna be on some other shit. It's Hitsu Yoaku, the sovereign identity architect at your service. Orewa Kakugachi Gwandayo. Translation: I'm built different, and I'm tapping in this Sunday, September 28th for the Magafest Destiny Meme Martyr Lecture. This one is going to be a movie that you don't want to miss. I'm opening up the spot. I'm setting off the ritual with the algorithmic asylum case file 002. We're really going to set you up to jailbreak your identity and tap into that altered destiny. Let's get it.
Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Hit Sayu Aku in the building. Bria, bria, boo, boo, boo. Legal shots. Boo, boo. Hold on, we got sound effects. Yeah, we paid the light bill. Hold on. Hold on, we paid the light bill. Legal shots. Legal.
To this day. To this day.
To this day. To this day.
To this day.
To this day.
Live and direct from the mothership. That now gonna be on some other shit. Hitsa Yoaku, Sovereign Identity Architect at your service. We back once again. The vibe was so nice, we did it thrice. And we on it again.
Vibe was so nice, we had to do it thrice. So this is the trilogy in a series leading up to our dissertation, and I love the research. I love the time. I love the energy. I love the research. I love the creativity that's being put into this. This is going to last forever. You know, I'm talking about it's going to be etched in stone. And this is the way to do journalism these days. You know, keep it spicy, keep it electric. You feel me? Keep it enticing and whatnot. So I don't even want to talk because I want to get right into it. You are going to pick up where you left off, good brother. I know you have a slideshow that you put together. I have a slideshow that I put together, and I'm gonna follow up right after you. And yeah, we're gonna cook.
You want me to present this algorithm of the war god shit?
The one you sent me.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. The algorithm of the war gods.
Share my screen. Give me 1 second. Let me grant this shit some access.
And before you do begin, I don't want to be rude to anyone in the building that's new, right? This is Saturday Night Live. Can you please introduce yourself to the family before we even begin? Pardon me.
Yeah. It's a Yoaku Sovereign Identity Architect. I blend digital brand strategy, digital literacy, systems thinking, and Afrofuturistic philosophy to help melanated creators and innovators such as yourself remember who the fuck they are so we can build empires that reflect your soul and not this godless algorithm. Hence why we are on the third leg of this very serious campaign right now. Yeah, that's what I do. So I help, like I said, I help creators really understand how to navigate the field of branding, marketing, advertising in a way that is natural, in a way that is organic, in a way that is authentic without being cheesy. A lot of niggas are using that word and they're not even really stepping into the energy of it the right way. This is authenticity. It's not about being liked by everybody. It's about being true to you and resonating that out so you can build an audience that genuinely loves who you show up as. You see what I'm saying? And that's the bare minimum of what I can say that I do.
Indeed. Appreciate that.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. Boom. Let's see. Share this one. Booyah. Can you see my screen?
There you go. Hold on.
Yo. Oh, there we go. All right, so this is the evidence briefing, the algorithm of a war god. So one of the first things that I really want to step into and make sure that we understand before we go any deeper into this is the colonialism to fascism pipeline. All right. what we really have to understand is that this ultra right wing Christian nationalist, military industrial technocratic clusterfuck that we're seeing emerging right now is not something new. It is a continuation of a tradition. When you really look at the origins of what colonialism and the transatlantic slave trade and what European culture is really all about, you'll see that in that formation of their identity were the seeds of what we now call fascism. So when we're dealing with Hitler's Germany or Mussolini's Italy, understand that they had spent thousands of years infighting within themselves, within Europe, to create that system to where now they can go against the rest of the world basically as a fanatical death cult. Okay? So that is the colonialism to fascism pipeline. Understand that white society as a whole is very much right wing. You see what I'm saying? All of this leftist, communal, socialist shit, that's for you niggas. That's for you melanated beings. You see what I'm saying? And they don't want to be associated with what you got going on. So understand that before we have this conversation, because once you understand that, you'll understand all of why they have weaponized the internet the way that they have. It's about control, it's about surveillance, it's about warfare, and it all ties back to their fragility, not their genetic annihilation, but their ontological annihilation, the annihilation of the very existence of white people, quote unquote. All right. The internet was never built for freedom or sovereignty. Its goals, funding, and consequences line up with a military project for autonomous control, surveillance, warfare, and the collapse of shared reality. The collapse of shared reality is the origin of the hyperreality. The internet wasn't built to mirror real life. That's the one thing we have to keep in mind. The internet was never supposed to mirror real life. It was supposed to be a simulation that they can then there you go. It's Skynet, it's the Matrix, it's Minority Report. All in one. It's Terminator 2. You get a 4-pack. You know what I'm saying? It was engineered as a control system where their simulation comes first and reality follows. The simulation becomes the substrate. That's the one thing we have to keep in mind. The internet is a simulation that is now seeking to parasitically control real life. The same way the zombie fungus get inside the ant brain and start making it do all kind of crazy shit. That's very disadvantageous to the continuation of its own life. Right. Here we are doing shit that is not actually advantageous to the evolution and the prospering of the human species or the planet as a larger field, right? So let's also abandon the notion that the military industrial complex is just sitting by idly watching everything. Surveillance was never the end game. It was never about developing just a panopticon to watch all you niggas and then not influence any of your behavior. That's why they seeded narratives. Prediction plus control logic turns into self-fulfilling prophecies. Right. If the machine models you as a threat, you become one, and that's a hyperstition at work. Black identity extremists, they labeled you a threat, and now you are one because they're going to train their models to see you as a threat. They're going to make sure the models ignore any form of data that would suggest otherwise. They're going to let the model hallucinate all type of extra shit. Right. They don't mind the hallucination when it means that they can get an even wilder kill chain off. All right. Every post, meme, and click inside the system is a ritual act. The parasite runs its spells by converting attention into obedience, outrage into data, and culture into weapons. These are quiet weapons for silent and secret wars. Because the real war here is not your physical body. This is not of flesh and blood. This is of principalities. of concepts, of symbols, of narratives, stories. That's what's really at war here. Competing ideologies.
Right. The mythos, which controls the perception, which controls your world, your reality.
There you go. It's all, and again, it's another pipeline. You're always looking at different pipelines feeding in and out of each other, right?
Right.
So if they set up the internet to be the default communication mechanism across the planet, and then they also know that underneath that, right, they have their public agenda, connect the world. They have their private agenda, collect the data. They have their secret agenda, control the populace and engineer society at a level with which we could predict crime simply by saying there's crime over there.
Right.
Boom. So the evidence makes it clear that the internet's architecture is a militarized hyper sigil, a system of control and prediction that doesn't just collapse shared reality, it replaces it with hyper reality, runs on hyperstition, and feeds on ritualized engagement. This is why it's the algorithm of a war god. This is El and Yah of the Sumerian pantheon made digital. This is how they feed Moloch now. This is how they feed Moloch. You want to talk about American gods and how the old gods are fighting the new gods? Some of the old gods ain't fighting the new gods. They're being digitized right now. So it's not just about snatching babies and doing your little vampire thing, right? It's about the conspiracy theory on the internet about it. So they don't even got to do it no more. They can feed off the thought and the content and the engagement.
Right. They're able to feed off the conspiracy theory itself.
Boom. Now they don't even got to do the thing. Because again, what is hyper reality about? Disconnecting from the source. They don't really want to have to keep up all of these human trafficking supply chains. Now they have the hyperstition of the supply chains existing.
Right.
And they can just eat off that. They can ritualize that engagement and eat off that.
Make some Netflix shows about it. You feel me?
You know, give it a couple Emmys, you know what I'm saying? An Oscar or two.
Award it up. Yeah, charge. Feed off of that. Right.
And you good for the next 10 years off that. Spin-offs, all kind of shit, reboots, make a book. So, built by the war machine, the modern computing didn't come from dreamers in a garage. That's the marketing and the branding that they sell you. Oh yeah, me and my pal Steve Jobs, we was just tweaking off the acid and
poor guys in a garage. We just came up with these concepts about home computers.
You know what I'm saying, bro? Just wanted to speed up my calculations, Brody. Nah, that's not how that was going. I promise you that's a lie. It comes straight out of the military-industrial complex.
Right.
So let's start here. Philosophy of control. And this name right here, John von Neumann, you need to know that name. 1950. And I quote, all processes that are stable, we shall predict. All processes that are unstable, we shall control. That's the founding logic of all computation, right? John von Neumann is one of the founding fathers of cybernetics, right? Him and Wiener, however you want to pronounce his name, you see what I'm saying? They come together. Wiener brings the philosophy. Neumann brings the overall architecture, the hard math. You see what I'm saying? The structure behind it all. Right. So von Neumann architecture is the backbone of all digital computing, period. Cybernetics and systems thinking. So we're dealing with feedback loops, control, and communication. Von Neumann worked on the automata, which is automated robotics, neural networks, which is the deep thinking, the deep mind, the deep research, all that shit that leads to AI, and self-reproducing machines. This is that gray goo theory, where they create that self-replicating robot that keeps self-replicating and then consumes the entire planet in order to keep replicating itself. He's also a central figure in game theory, which is decision-making and feedback between autonomous agents. Every person in the political sphere is an autonomous agent, and so are all of these AIs and bots that make up 50 to 60 to 70 to 80% of the internet now, depending on who you ask.
Right.
So this is a game that they're playing. They know the moves that are possible because they're setting up the entire landscape.
So it's
And
almost like chess. It's game theory is basically human chess, correct?
Bingo, no different.
Okay.
It's how you gamify all these structures to be able to understand and manipulate your opponent into making certain moves so that way you can counter that. Right.
That's so the simulacra. So the simulation is basically gamified. It's their petri dish. It's their digital world. Through DARPA, they create the digital clone of the world with everybody as a digital twin, and they're able to now use super computers, AGI, AI, and quantum computers, such as the D-Wave, to use prediction models to basically checkmate everybody that they want to put into play.
There you go. I'm glad you brought in the D-Wave too, because now that allows them to exponentially speed up their predictive and analytical power.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Equations that should be taking trillions of years with the best supercomputers, getting it done in a few hours.
Right, with the quantum, with the qubit.
So that means that all they have to do is get all the data in one place and just drop it. They don't even have to organize it. They just have to drop it as a brain dump and say, we want to control the world. Here's all the evidence and data points we need. What's my next step? Hour by hour, second by second.
Right. Henceforth, the data centers that are the size of cities being built in all melanated areas like Memphis, like Texas. You feel me? Like Atlanta.
Just like I said about Disney, it's one thing when the hyperstition exists in the mind of the people. It's another thing when you give it a physical location, right? When you ground it back to something and it's now tangible in that regard. That takes the game to another level because now, again, the whole point of this is to get the internet to start dictating real life. They're trying to get to that point where they can engineer existence as a whole, where they don't have to shoot a gun at you. They can just control alt delete you out of the server and never have to worry about you again. Sounds crazy, but then again, in the 1930s, all of the shit we got right now would have sounded crazy to all of the niggas that sat down and built it step by step. Right? So let's deal with from bombs to networks. We're dealing with ENIAC, 1945. The first general purpose digital computer, electronic numerical integrator and computer, was built at the University of Pennsylvania, right? And they immediately put it to work on the nuclear arms race. Immediately put it to work, immediately weaponized the shit. This is the first digital computer, general purpose, and they immediately weaponized it. Then we have to deal with SAGE, which was a Cold War missile defense network designed by MIT, IBM, and the Air Force. MIT, IBM, and the Air Force. That's academia, that's the private sector, and the military. You got the trifecta right there. So what is SAGE? A semi-automatic ground environment, a large-scale network computer system. It cost more than the Manhattan Project to develop and was obsolete by the time it finished. But because of the work they did, they were able to generate so many advancements that led to more sophisticated technologies. This is the pre-internet, because DARPANET is the pre-internet. So this is the pre-internet. This is just showing networked computer systems. This is not the World Wide Web yet. So now let's talk about ARPA and DARPA. The internet's ancestor, ARPANET, 1969, same year they went to the moon, right? Was a military project linking defense contractors and universities. Its purpose was resilience, surveillance, and control. The Advanced Research Project Agency was established in response to the launch of Sputnik, So that's the space race of the Cold War, right? And they were initially focused on technology, space travel, and missile defense. But when the government went and created NASA, had to give the Nazis something to do. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
The focus of ARPA switched to counterinsurgency against leftist, communist, rebellion forces. So that means any of you hippies talking any of that indigenous, community-focused, communal-based lifestyle shit, fuck you, we on your head. And we gonna make sure we figure out all the techniques and methods to disband of you niggas. This is what they created in Thailand, in Vietnam, in Korea, because they were getting their asses handed to them by guerrilla warfare. And they needed a way to stop you niggas before you could even organize to that degree. And this is how they do it. If you wonder why the Black Panthers don't exist no more, you wonder why everybody crying over Asada, here we go, ARPA and DARPA, baby.
Right.
Boom. So this leads me to my next point. And again, this isn't necessarily the timeline in chronological order. I organized it by themes, right? So you'll see how there's things going on in the 40s, things going on in the 60s. Now we're moving to the early 2000s, where the Pentagon stopped building everything directly and started investing in In-Q-Tel, the CIA's venture capital funding arm. Why the fuck does the CIA have a venture capital funding arm? Because that money went to birth companies like Palantir, whose first and only client was the CIA. And Palantir is the one automating and putting the AI into all of the weapon systems across the world, particularly for the West, America, and Israel.
Right.
The CIA established In-Q-Tel in 1999, a nonprofit venture capital firm designed to blend research and development models to provide the agency with cutting-edge technology. The same money makes its way to Silicon Valley, Apple, Google, Microsoft, etc. Right? So here's how we kind of track the time, at least one of those timelines. In 2003, Keyhole, a CIA project, used 3D engines to stitch together satellite images to create a model of the real world. If that sounds familiar, it fucking should, because in 2004, Google bought Keyhole and then created Google Earth as we understand it. Boom. Then in 2008, the AlexNet papers showed that neural networks were a viable way of computing data, provided you had a tremendous amount of data at your disposal. And that revived AI research, because there was an AI winter back in the 60s to like the 80s, where they gave up on all AI research.
Right. That was 1.0.
Boom. This brought them back into that fold. And it ain't even take them too long to hire those same researchers that created the AlexNet papers. Google created or hired them, and then took that same shit and updated Google Translate in 2016 to now use these neural networks. And one of the processes that they found was zero-shot translation, right? We don't got to get into all the technicals, but basically they ended up seeing that these AIs, through their black box processing, they can't see exactly what's going on inside of those neural networks. They don't know how the AI is making any of these decisions. They don't actually know. That's the black box protocol of it all, right? But through that, what they understood is that while translating from one language to another, essentially the AI has created a secret language that it is using as a medium between any two given languages. So if you want to translate from Japanese to Spanish, it's using some hidden fourth language as a medium to do that translation. And that's where zero-shot translation comes in. But it's an emergent phenomenon. They did not code that into the system. It just appeared. Almost the same way that you can't necessarily find where consciousness is located in the body. It just appears when the body is brought together in the proper functioning placement, right? There we go. So this isn't tech innovation, it's military infrastructure cosplaying as genuine technological development. What do you think so far, Red?
Oh, fire.
We on point with it. We on point with it. So boom, surveillance as religion. The goal is total visibility and preemptive control. Think Skynet, think Minority Report, think Matrix, think Terminator, etc., etc. Ready Player One,
Right.
Blade Runner,
Up
Maze Runner.
right. Lord of the Rings, all the way with
That's
Palantir in it, all the way up into modern day Palantir.
there you go.
It's a no-brainer.
Especially the Palantir reference, because the whole point of Lord of the Rings, the villain is a giant evil eyeball in the sky. Like what the fuck?
Right.
And that's the Panopticon. So let's go through this. ARPA's Project Agile, this is 1961, tested tech and social science to predict social uprisings in Vietnam. Later, the Cambridge Project aimed to catalog humanity itself. So let's talk about in 1962, Lick Leader, right? We'll just call him Lick because that's what they call him in the industry, right? He gets hired on, right? So he becomes the head of command and control research division, allocating funds to scientists who would go on to invent modern computers and envisioning the great intergalactic network. Again, this is ARPA, DARPA, the precursor, the actual infrastructure that built the internet. Lick Leader is the head of the research division, and he's saying he wanted to create a great intergalactic network. If you haven't read the book Dune, you need to go read Dune. Specifically, you need to go learn about the Butlerian Jihad. It was a holy war against AI across the entire galaxy. Niggas need to go read that because that's essentially what they're trying to set that up. They're trying to set up these conditions.
Right.
An intergalactic Borg empire. If you've seen Star Trek Deep Space Nine, you got it.
Right. My mother told me about the Borg movie just today, yo, I promise you. She was like, yo, the AI shit, they showed you that in the Borg movie.
There you go.
Charlize Theron had a monologue. She was like a South African actress, has a cold, chilling monologue in the Borg movie where she explains everything that's happening right now with AI.
Straight up. Space Odyssey, 2001, all of this shit, bro. This is what we're leading into. So when we're dealing with Lick, right? Why is Lick so important? How did he get himself that job at ARPA, right? He published a paper describing his vision of a human-machine combination and integrated computers into regular people's daily lives. This is the human-machine symbiosis, right? These are the type of philosophies and thoughts that even get us to the space where we have high-powered computers in our hands and we walk around with them every day. There was a point in time where computer was a job title for a human.
The NASA.
Then it became an entire room in a building, and now it's a thing in your hand.
Right. The human computers, they showed them in the movie Hidden Figures. Those were black ladies in the basement of NASA. They helped them chart the galaxy and do a whole bunch of.
So, all right. So, boom. This is why I even brought up the ARPA NASA connection, because ARPA started as NASA, but then that science got that job responsibility got passed off, right? So this is where we're seeing two sides. It was not only a space race, it was a computing race as well, because you needed the computational power to do all of the space racing, right? Again, they don't want to give no credit to you melanated people doing the job. They're trying to get you out of the picture. They don't want you to have any credit in any of their development. So that's why they were racing to build the AI same time, right? Because now with the computers and the AI, you can now more efficiently guide and direct all of these rockets that you're building.
Because in the movie Hidden Figures, they brought in the computer Watson to replace the 4 melanated women, right? That was the first AI. They brought Watson in, and to add insult to injury,
that was IBM, right?
Yeah, the women had to program Watson. They didn't know how to program it. So they brought it in to replace them, and they themselves had to program their replacement. So
All because they don't want to share no credit with you. Because then that takes away from their hyperstition of white supremacy. Can't be supreme if you niggas help me get to the moon.
right.
Boom. So let's talk about Project Camelot. This ARPA research project aimed to develop a radar system that could predict and prevent left-wing political movements before they started, aka Minority Report.
Right.
Literally Minority Report.
Precogs.
Precogs. We don't want none of you niggas, none of you melanated beings, none of you sovereigns uprising against us in any meaningful way. So we're going to stamp you out before the flame even get hot. Now you combine that with the quantum computing, they can stop you 5 years in advance. They can set you off track with a Mandela effect. They can fuck around and have the algorithm convince you to go somewhere, to meet somebody. Nigga, these niggas can set up synchronicities now, or they're at least trying to.
Right.
This is what all of this is converging to, right? So that's Project Camelot. Let's talk about the Cambridge Project. If Cambridge sounds familiar to you, it should. That's Cambridge Analytica.
Mm-hmm.
Students protested ARPA, funded Cambridge Project. Let's keep that in mind. Students protested the ARPA funded Cambridge Project. Niggas wasn't fucking with the internet when they found out about this shit.
Right.
No. Niggas was not hyped. Because they knew, because then the intentions of it were a little more obvious because we weren't so abstracted away from who created the internet. We weren't being sold and marketed an idea yet because they were simply weaponizing the shit. There wasn't a Steve Jobs to sell you a story about. Right. There wasn't a Bill Gates. There wasn't a Jeff Bezos to sell you a story about. That's story-driven branding, narrative-driven branding. It's very effective as propaganda if you want to use it as such.
Right.
But this is where we get into the Cambridge Project. Niggas was not fucking with this shit. So it was a continuation of Project Camelot's work using massive data libraries for counterinsurgency and predicting political movements. Think the Black Panthers. Think the Nation of Islam. Think, the modern conscious community as we understand it. Everything on 125th.
Right.
We could say got stomped out more or less by overt and covert agents participating in projects that trace their origin back to Camelot, Cambridge, and ARPA. Straight CIA agents. What the fuck? We don't have to argue no more. Hip hop was infiltrated by the CIA same time because they needed to get rid of that revolutionary force, i.e., the fear of a black and more Messiah,
i.e., the Shakur effect. The Shakur strain. The Shakur strain. There's a Shakur strain in hip hop. And that's attached to the Black and More Messiah strain.
There you go. It's a hyperverse. It's a hyperverse. We're all drawn to it, not because we all look alike, and it's because we share the one common principle that makes us a family. Our sovereignty, our right to be sovereign, our right to fight for that sovereignty against a system of oppression.
Fact.
That's what it's always going to be about. So many protests formed against ARPA when they were exposed in an NBC News broadcast. So let's think about this now. This is the media exposing the military. Ask yourself if that would happen today. All right. So let's now put into the conversation Project Mockingbird, Project Paperclip, where essentially they turned the news into a propaganda engine for the military-industrial complex. Hello.
Right.
This is the same Cambridge as Cambridge Analytica. That's the massive Facebook data leak.
Right.
That's what has Zuckerberg looking like a fucking deer caught in headlights in front of Congress.
Right.
All right. Let's talk.
That's Robert Mercer and all of them.
There we go.
Let's
jump back up to the top real quick. So we're dealing with signature strikes. Algorithmic probability turned into policy. Surveillance data fed into models that decide whether you live or die via drone strike. The same predictive logic that serves you an ad runs drone kill chains. Like I said, this is why I got into branding and marketing, because I realized this shit goes all the way back to the advertisers.
Mm.
Every time I have one of these conversations, somehow I get pulled into the advertisers. Ad money. The same processes they're using to sell you an ad is the same processes they're going to use to knock your head off.
Mm.
Targeted ad, targeted individuals.
Mm.
So peep what this says right here. I'm gonna highlight it for the squad. We kill people based on metadata. Michael Hayden.
That's dude from Palantir.
Yep.
We talked about that. That was I came to find out that they was involved with the programs called Gospel and Lavender.
Yes.
Where's My Daddy?
Where's my daddy?
Where's my dad? And they invoked Where's My Daddy with Erica Kirk. She said, my daughter said, where's my daddy?
Dog whistling.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it takes. So when we talk about this, we kill people based on metadata, you have to understand that this goes right back to the Bush doctrine, right? Authorization of use of military force, AUMF, was passed, establishing a policy of preemptive strikes. This is that shock and awe, right? Reliant on predicting threats, requiring massive advancements in autonomous weapons and surveillance. That's 2002. So when they talk about that breakthrough with the AlexNet paper in 2008, nigga, where do you think that breakthrough came from? And mind you, they got hired on by Google, but Google had already bought Keyhole, and Keyhole already had connections to the CIA. So what the fuck do you think Google got when they bought Keyhole, if not connections to the CIA?
Right.
Boom. This is one thing we have to understand. Sometimes you got to pay to play. If you want to have access to certain conversations, you got to put up the bread to let niggas know I can fund that conversation.
Yeah, you got to buy in.
Buy in. Show up with a pledge or something. Palantir is founded in 2002. Wait a minute. Bush dropped the doctrine in 2002. Palantir is founded in 2002, and then they get signed on by the CIA in the next year. I don't need a conspiracy theory, bro. It's just what I can see in public research is sketchy enough.
Right.
So let's jump down to the bottom. We're dealing with PRISM in 2007. This is the NSA's program that tapped directly into Silicon Valley servers, building the total surveillance of the internet. So we started with Bush. That's a part of his shock and awe campaign. And then we expand that under Obama. This is the same year, 2007, that the iPhone drops, putting an end to the internet as a place, access in a specific room, making it all over, increasing the ease and speed of online communication. So now the internet is everywhere. Now this is the start of the Internet of Things.
Right.
Where now they put Wi-Fi and internet in every single thing to track all of your data.
All of your data, right.
They want to know how many times you toast that bread and how dark you like it.
That's a fact. It starts with your smartphone and ends up with your smart house, smart stove, smart everything. Everything.
Do you remember that movie from back in the day? It was a Disney Channel original movie. I don't know if you saw it, but it was a movie called Smart House, where literally the house was fully AI automated and started tweaking out when the family didn't accept her as the mother.
Right. I remember that.
Boom. So let's fast forward now. Oh, so before we jump in, put two and two together. They tap the lines of every smartphone user by default. Apple is in on it. Google is in on it. Any of these, Samsung is in on it. They tap Silicon Valley.
The story just came out, I think, yesterday, where they said that on Samsung phones, they all come tagged with an Israeli surveillance apparatus Then the report also came out that 8 different VPN companies are owned by
Mm-hmm.
Israeli firms that have ties to their IDF. But please continue.
So there we go. What the fuck does a South Korean company have to do with Israel?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So let's fast forward now that we understand that the unified database in 2025, Trump ordered all unclassified federal data to be merged into a single system. Palantir now runs the default operating system for US data. Palantir has a monopoly on US data, and Palantir is not no we like you humans ass company. They are about bloodshed.
Right.
Between the two of these niggas, you might as well say this is Stark Industries.
Basically.
Except these niggas not gonna have no come to Jesus moment in the desert and create no arc reactor for you boys. Let's get that out your head too.
I would say it's Voight Industries from the TV show The Boys on Amazon. It's Voight.
That's a even yeah. Let's get to that compound V.
Yeah, that Compound V where they do the real bloodshed.
Yeah. So this unified database objective also includes the 4 AI execs that are now lieutenant colonels in the Army and the Pentagon releasing thousands of autonomous systems. All right. It's all the same thing. The same algorithms that predict your clicks are predicting targets. They're going to sell you to death. I promise you they're going to sell you to death. So the death cult of data at the end of this trajectory lies an altar, AI that demands blood. This is their Moloch. This is their Yah. This is their El. These are the old gods given new forms. They don't have to sacrifice babies the old way. Your kid's hooked on the iPad. That's good enough.
Right.
Boom. So AI needs war. Military AI doesn't improve content, it improves casualties. Models train on real conflicts. Again, all of that unclassified military data. AI wars. In 2021, Israel deployed algorithms like herbal essences right here. Okay. I want to get the stream cut, which ranked Palestinians by likelihood of being combatants and where's daddy, which basically amounts to we're going to gather all the data we need to clap you at your house with your kids in the room.
Right.
Real sick shit.
Right. They know that you got to go home.
They know every one of you so-called tough revolutionaries got a family that you care about.
That's right.
And the one thing you're not willing to do for the revolution is completely cut them off. Again, these boys are making quiet weapons for silent and secret wars, bro. So Palantir CEO, we're talking Alex Karp and Peter Thiel, but this one is particularly Alex Karp admits their software is used on occasion to kill people. If you watch any of their interviews, these are not niggas that like the human species at all.
Nah, they
do not value life at all.
They do not.
These niggas are evil. Evil. And not even like the cool Thanos evil where you kind of like, oh, I see where he's going.
Creepy evil. Like, yeah, like the cringe. They got cringe evil spirits.
Bro, it's like some Revenge of the Nerd type shit.
Not just Revenge of the Nerds. It's like Revenge of the Gold. Revenge of the Precious. Like
shit.
They from that breed right there. You know what I'm talking about?
Yo, I feel you. And that's where I really wanted to. I had a random thought as I was doing the research, and I was like, yo, Lord of the Rings is based on one ring to rule them all. And I was like, what else is a ring? A feedback loop. One self-organizing cybernetic system to control all of the masses. That's what they're going for. One ring to rule them all. They want to put all you niggas in one room, an invisible prison where they can see and monitor and track everything. And the minute you step out of line, boom, you're done. Ain't no conversation, ain't no judge, ain't no jury. The algorithm already knew you was gonna commit the crime on Tuesday, so why not kill you on Monday?
Damn.
And you know what's gonna happen? Everyone's gonna go for it because safety, comfort, convenience.
Right. Comes before anything.
Niggas don't want to live the hard life. A sovereign life is not comfortable. You have to make comfort as a sovereign. You can't just be handed comfort, because if a nigga hands you comfort, they can take that away from you at any given time and make you subject to their whims. And that's not sovereign.
That is not. That's not what
So
Assad was living under.
That's not what Assad died for. I promise you that much.
And whenever you want to measure what sovereignty is, think Assad, measure her. Measure it against her. You know what I mean? See if it weighs up, scale it against her scales. And then you'll be able to kind of see what it is. Other than that, I don't know what to tell you.
Neither do I. So this is where we bring in the dead internet aspect of this. As AI generated content floods the web, bots drown human voices. Reality fractures. What's left is paranoia, feedback loops, and content designed to keep you docile. 1984. There we go. It's all there. It's all there. It's just they sprinkle it all over the place, and you don't see it all at once. And this is why we do this research. Let's just bring it all together in one place and say what it is.
Right.
The internet isn't dead for no reason. The internet is the altar of a death cult.
Say that again.
The internet is the altar of a death cult. The same death cult that started Christianity, the Babylonian, the beast, all of them conversations.
To this day,
we dealing with the same one. So the internet was never dead. It was never alive in the first place. What the fuck are we talking about? That's why it's a theorem. That's why I'm like, yo, it's not a theory. This shit was never alive. This is zombie land. It was always meant to be zombie land because the bots are triggering you into responding, and they get more data on how you're going to respond to everything. So now they can set the perfect play to clap a nigga. And even when all the evidence shows this is a play, this is a setup, it don't matter.
They know your knee-jerk response.
Boom.
And, right. When they line you up, they could do like they did CK, Captain Kirk. They got 18 shooters there. Right? So you can't, you know what I mean? There's no one.
Not at all.
And when, like, if you ever pull up to a spot, ladies and gentlemen, and you see 3 of your ops there, cancel that show. I don't care if it's the Grammy performance. Leave. Because they might be trying to Malcolm X you, Autobahn you. You know what I mean? When you see too many ops in the audience, get your hands out my wallet. Like it's they lining up. They
lining it up.
Yeah, they form Voltron to come and get you.
There we go. And the issue is we don't form our Voltron in self-defense properly. Let me make this very clear. You cannot petition your way out of this. There's no fucking way to.
Right.
They already told the AI that you ain't shit. They already biased the machine against you. Or at least their versions of it. You see what I'm saying? The chat GPT you using on your day-to-day, it might be a little racist, but I bet you it's not as racist as Palantir.
Right.
Bet you it's not as racist as Herbal Essences over here.
Right.
We gotta understand, bro, like these things are not being done to be cute. It's dead ass. So when we think that we're gonna politically get our way out of this, that's not it. We have to create competing infrastructure and competing systems. So this is where we say Sekhem and Ashe to Asada, because are you willing to abandon this shit wholesale and go where they say, those are your enemies over there, don't trust them. She went to Cuba, she went to the communists. And she got to live a long, healthy life, a natural life.
That's a fact.
No CIA poisonings, no FBI headshots, no, none of that.
And you know they was trying.
And you know they was trying.
You know they was trying.
So this is where I'm saying, are we willing to push it to that level? Because again, they're pushing it to this level. They're about to set up a quantum computer aimed at clapping your koofies. What the fuck? What else can I say? Except this. Let's get to the core insight. The internet was not born neutral.
Hold on, my brother. I'm sorry. We at the 1 hour mark. We got to take.
Let's give him a little bathroom break.
You know what I mean? Yeah, we're going to come right back. Ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind, we have a lecture tomorrow. We are going to be in the building. Mañana, the God is going to be opening up. All right. Hit Sayu is going to be opening up for American Gods 10. Manifest Destiny, featuring the twin pillars. Make sure y'all are in the building. Mañana, you know what I'm talking about. Make sure y'all are there so y'all could be there and witness this, brother. You know the information is going to be fire. All right. We'll be right back. Pay us in crypto, ladies and gentlemen. Pay us in crypto. Wait, pay us in crypto or got it going on? Which one?
Man, got it going on goes crazy, bro. I gotta hear your
Hey, yo, we got it going on. I'm hit or right or am I wrong? Yo, we got it going on. It's for the culture. Yeah. Hey, yo, we got it going on. Bring my niggas together, we transform and become the Voltron. Yeah. We hit it right all or wrong. Hey yo, we got it going on. Yeah. Went through the fire, but it lit up my fuse. I'm blowing up like a bomb. Introduce you to God. I'm teaching essentials, I'm operating at my peakest potential. Elijah, he told me to keep it simple. Through these instrumentals, I speak to your mental. Red, back in the booth, rap. Hey yo, we got it going on. I'm hit or right or am I wrong? Yo, we got it going on. It's for the culture. Yeah. Hey yo, we got it going on. I bring my niggas together, we transform and become the Voltron. Yeah. We hit it right or wrong. Hey yo, we got it going on. Yeah. Went through the fire, but it lit up my fuse. I'm blowing up like a bomb. Introduce you to God. I'm teaching essentials, I'm operating at my peakest potential. Elijah, he told me to keep it simple. Through these instrumentals, I speak to your mental. Red, back in the booth, rap to the youth, they was lacking the truth. Back to the seas, they was lacking the roots. Smoked all the trees and they snacking on fruits. Bed, attached to my roof, detached to the roof on the back of the coupe. Back from the future, I'm back in the red and the blue, yeah, I'm back on my snoop. Niggas be biting, they cracking, they cracking, niggas be capping, they lacking, they put a toe tag on the back of they boot. Battle with nukes, I'm attacking, they troops. I wrote these bars in Sumerian text. The legends of Mu on the Marian sets. It was written in Targaryen text. Came to conquer all my variants. Yeah, we got it going on. I bring my niggas together, we transform and become the Voltron. Yeah. We hit it right all or wrong. Hey yo, we got it going on. Yeah. Went through the fire, but it lit up my fuse. I'm blowing up like a bomb. Introduce you to God. Back on the mic, was dead on my back, now I'm back on my life. Came back from the future, went back to it twice. When I rose out the grave, they said that dude is Christ. I'ma shine like a star, I'ma twinkle as I light up the sky. The whole world was watching on the night I arrived. The Messiah's here, I guess it's finally time. Swear that I hear every prayer that you say. I was there every day, I was still everything in the world.
Chat, what the hell?
I'm the one that's on the light is
Whenever they got a pillar at the Vatican. Pope Pablo, where you at?
You either fight or run. Life a game, I feel like I won. Yo, we got it going on. I bring my niggas together, we transform and become the Voltron. We hit a right all on wrong. Hey yo, we got it going on. Yeah. Went through the fire, but it lit up my fuse. I'm blowing up like a bomb. Introduce you to God.
From the quantum shadows, a traveler emerges. Fly Sinet, the multi-dimensional hacker, living his hero's journey. He joins the Pantheon at AI Masters Workshop, November 1st and 2nd, hosted by 363 Empire with Red Pillar and Seven Bomar. Tickets, lock yours in now.
This is the law of mental command. It is the understanding that you are not a victim of your thoughts, but a commander of them.
Man, woo.
Shit got me ready to drop some bars in here, goddamn.
That's it right there.
That's it. That's it.
And I want to make a special announcement, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight and tonight only, we are going to be offering a 30% off for tickets. Take advantage, take full advantage of that right there. You could get it on KTL University, or you could get the link in the description, or you could go to Eventbrite and get that. All right. Real quick, before we even start, let me play this commercial. We got me and Blue in the building. Remember, y'all, 30% off with the promo code MAGAFest on checkout. Get your tickets and pay and take full advantage of that. All right, let me go ahead. Where's this commercial?
Live and direct from.
Join us September 28th for MAGAFest Destiny 2.0 American Gods as Brother Blue Pill and Red Pill bring you the latest and the greatest information pertaining to, but not limited, Charlie Kirk's assassination, the conspiracy to cover it up, and the continuing infractions at the hands of the MAGA elite. Make sure that you tune in and zoom in. This is going to be too hot for TV.
Yes. Go ahead and get that link. You know what I'm talking about? Matter of fact, I'm going to drop it in the chat, and I'm going to let you do your thing. Go ahead, brother. Do your thing.
Yes.
Hook it up.
All right, so let's pack this out the right way. This is the final core insight. This is what everything wraps up to. The internet was not born neutral. It was a weapon from the start, an egregore of control designed by the war machine, refined by Silicon Valley, and now unleashed as an autonomous parasite. This is damn near the perfect segue into Case File 002, the algorithmic asylum, codenamed Project Parasitic Panopticon, right? This is where I'm going to be dropping my lecture for tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? This is actually the content that I'm going to be going over, is describing how this parasite really functions now that it's being brought into its full manifestation. You see what I'm saying? Now that it's truly beginning to emerge and take on a life of its own now we have to be able to talk about how it's going to affect us and the countermeasures we can use against it in order to, again, maintain our own sovereignty and be able to follow the Asada Shakur protocol. You see what I'm saying?
Right. The Asada protocol. Beautiful.
Big time.
Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the brother, man. That presentation was magnificent. You know what I'm talking about? Magnificent. And we will have this presentation available and buy me a coffee for a donation, of course. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
Because everybody has to be compensated for their work. This is an energy-based relationship that we have with you, ladies and gentlemen. considering that, you know, we all are here to assist one another in all endeavors.
Big
Um,
time.
I want to add on, you know what I'm saying? I got a little something that I put together as well to prep the lady, to prep the audience for our dissertation tomorrow. It's so much, yo, it's so much information, bro.
Oh, hey, yo,
Yeah, like it, like from we literally made the
yo,
announcement
son.
15 days ago about I think it was September, like right around 9/11, right? It
Mm-hmm.
was like, you know, the idea came to me. There's been so much information from that point forward. Like the
Yo,
shit it's been a flood of, it's so much to cover, especially as we started to dig and deep dive and go digging and whatnot. We hit a it's like we hit a well of
facts.
natural of
And it starts
structural
pouring
force.
out. Yep.
Yeah, gushing out. You know what I mean? So we want to nourish y'all. We want to quench your thirst. We don't want to drown you, but we definitely want to get the family baptized. This information is liberating. This information is refreshing to the brain. This
Yo,
information repairs synapses. It deals with neuroplasticity. It's a solution based information dump, especially if you know what you're looking at. So I wanna add on. I wanna do my part.
let him build. Let him build.
My lecture tomorrow is going to be red rum, white lies, and blue bloods. Instead of red, white, and blue, red rum, white lies, and blue blood. You know what I mean? So that'll be my segment where I completely give uh my dissertation to the to my, you know, to my contingency, to my network. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
To aliens. The code for the 30% off is MAGAFest. I'll put that up one more again. The promo
Yeah, yeah.
code
Make sure y'all get that.
30% off is MAGAFest. And I just might throw in MAGAFest 1.0 as well, because I did promise that
Ooh.
to other ticket holders. So, you know, we might as well, I want to be in a given mood. So we might as well throw that in there as well. So in case you didn't see that, you can see the prophecy in what was being said. Like the prophecy, Blue and me and Blue, it was in New Orleans giving straight prophecy in February. It always helps to revisit the lectures that you got from us when you got time. It always helps to always
Always.
revisit our yeah, if y'all have that in your library, because we talking about shit that's going on maybe in a lecture from 2020, 2020. We're talking about stuff that's happening right now. So information is timeless. All right. Meme martyrs and the algorithmic parasitic panopticon, right? Digital
Big time.
martyrdom, death as content. In our hyper-connective age, public figures' deaths, falls from grace, or cancellations are instantly transformed into digital saints. Their symbolic power is amplified beyond physical existence, weaponizing martyrdom into hyperstition that shapes, identifies, and bends reality. The algorithmic parasitic panopticon, look it up. This system, a fusion of surveillance capitalism,
Mm-hmm.
automated content generation,
Mm.
and military grade targeting, converts human tragedy into engineered reality. It operates through an ontological framework from physical reality to hyper reality. Bot armies, hyperstition and reality engineering, hyperstition and reality engineering, bot armies, mimetic priesthoods, and algorithmic amplification systems collaborate to transform individuals' deaths into collective identity programming. Come on, Let me know if y'all seen this happen in your time online. This system uses hyperstition and hypersigils as tools of mass psychological programming, merging attention markets, military technology, and ritual behavior. Live demonstration. Captain Kirk's assassination. The assassination of conservative commemorator Charlie Kirk on September the 10th, 2025 provides a perfect real-time case study of mimetic martyrdom in action. Within hours of his death, Kirk's killing was reframed from tragic violence into sacred narrative, a transformation that reveals the industrial scale machinery of digital canonization. 47 minutes to martyrdom. The time from death announcement to first hashtag Charlie Kirk martyrdom hashtag
God damn.
why.
Not even an hour,
Not even
bro.
an hour. They caught it in
Shitting
47.
me.
62% bot traffic, percentage of early amplification driven by automated accounts rather than organic human response. So 62% of the bot army got activated. The bots got activated. The whole Elon Musk Cybertruck bot army, quote unquote, that iRobot type shit, right? It got turned online and they went to change they went to manipulate people's minds. They kicked in the PSYOP campaign and they started changing reality right there in real time. All right. 78% misinformation rate, proportion of viral content containing false details about the assassination within first 24 hours. The Kirk assassination demonstrates all 5 layers of our ontological framework operating simultaneously. The physical reality of his death was immediately abstracted into simulacra, endless variations of martyrdom memes. These flooded social media to create a hyper-real environment where Kirk's symbolic meaning became more powerful than his actual words or actions had ever been. Hyperstition took hold as millions of users treated Kirk as a fallen saint, marking his martyrdom socially reals regardless of actual circumstances of his death. Finally, sophisticated hypersigils, coordinated ritual hashtags, memorial images, and revenge narratives were deployed um to convert
It says grief into political mobilization and identity hardening.
right. So you got to see that immediately with the threats on the HSBU campuses and then the hangings.
Mm-hmm.
It already happened. It's just that they were so they told you look the other way, basically. Like imagine on some Hotel Rwanda, you driving by bodies, strange fruit. They telling you what you looking at on some Debo Red shit.
Yo.
They caught 2
It's,
bodies. Told you what you looking at. Nothing.
all right, I thought so. Keep it pushing,
I
little nigga.
thought so. Keep it pushing. But the revenge thing. They wanted to bomb the college the next day. Straight up.
There we go. There we go.
The frameworks, symbolic physics. To understand how meme martyrs operate, we must first map the ontological terrain they inhabit. Our reality has been fundamentally restructured through 5 ascending layers of symbolic physics. Each represent a deeper departure from material grounding towards engineered meaning making systems. Physical reality, the original substrate of existence, the material world before any map is made. This is where bodies actually die, buildings actually collapse, and events actually occur in space and time. Boom. Then you got the simulacra, the sign that replaces reality, copies without originals that depict things that either had no original or no longer have an original. The territory becomes secondary to the map. That would be the BMF series. They turned Big Meech into an action figure. Or Little Meech for that matter. And you know, you had people that was really alive and they're still alive in Detroit complaining like, yo, that show is just taking things and twisted it. I'm like, nigga, welcome to the simulacra. There's no TV show on goddamn television that actually is not saying that this is based on true events. Maybe nowadays with social media and micro shows and stuff, but for the most part, with scripted television is not going to give you. The reason why television exists is for the simulacra. Hollywood is to create the simulacra and hyper realities and
it's how they primed you for
of
it.
entertainment. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that's how they primed you for it. I've been watching a lot of Twilight Zone lately.
Yes.
Yeah. They were getting off a lot of these concepts very early on and priming society for essentially what they were going to do. Yeah,
they programmed our parents. They programmed the boomers. Today's my dad's birthday. They programmed he's 77. They programmed his generation. That's who they was cooking. But my father's generation is the generation that raised, taught. You know, they were hands on with everything that plays a part right now. Hyper reality. The substrate we live in now, made of models and symbols, a reality generated by models of a real without origin. The map becomes the territory. An experience is pre-structured by algorithmic systems. Welcome to the Matrix. Welcome to the Matrix. Hyperstition is the next layer. If enough people treat something as real, it becomes real. Fiction writes itself into fact through collective belief and behavioral change. Stories solidify into worlds through network effects. Stories solidify into worlds through network effects. Hypersigil, designed stories, symbols, or rituals that bend the engines of reality. Intentional interventions that exploit hyperstition to direct collective consciousness and behavior towards chosen outcomes. This progression from physical reality to hypersigil represents the complete transformation of human meaning making from material reference to symbolic engineering. Meme martyrs operate primarily in layers 4 and 5, using hyperstition and hypersigils to convert individual deaths into collective behavioral programming. Okay, let's continue. Dead internet theory, the partly dead substrate. The foundation of our hyperreal environment is no longer human conversation, but machine generated content. Dead internet theory describes a web increasingly dominated by automated systems where authentic human interaction has been crowded out by bot traffic, AI generated content, and algorithmic amplification systems. This creates the perfect substrate for hyperstition to take root and flourish. The desolate digital wasteland. The web is increasingly dominated by automated systems, creating a digital landscape devoid of genuine human interaction. An astounding 51% of total internet traffic is now generated by automated systems rather than humans. Bot traffic, automated amplification. Bot traffic and AI generated content actively manipulate the information flow. This includes a 73% proportion of viral content, right? Things that go viral, 73% that achieves visibility through artificial amplification networks, aka bot farms in Botswana, making it seem organically popular. Translation: you could buy a viral moment.
There you go.
You can buy viral moments. Okay,
Pay
ladies.
to play, sock it to my pocket.
Sock it to my pocket. The same way you could buy a fur, the same way you could buy a Birkin, the same way you could buy a Gucci belt, the same way you could buy Jordans, the same way you could buy a overpriced bottle in a bottle section. I would, to be honest with you, rather spend the 300 to the 3,500 on bots from Botswana before I would go and buy a bottle from a goddamn bottle section, or before I would throw 10 bands, or before I would blow 10 bands, or before I would put it on any type of China made designer item. I would put it on the bots.
That's a fact.
That is a fact, especially if I had a narrative about something that I needed to get out there.
Get
and
out
I
there
wanted
and
to go viral about a certain type of narrative. Yeah, I'm going to Botswana.
Straight up. Straight up. Because I can't trust the humans to do the human thing and communicate the message.
Right.
Humans ain't human in the way they used
Humans
to.
ain't human in. So even they have to sit back and watch bots from Botswana do the job that they should have been doing, but they don't want to hit share. They don't want to hit like. You know what I'm saying? They not human.
They want to act stingy with it like it costs something, yo.
The fuck, right?
Like this shit crazy as hell, bro.
And I've said before, if the humans were human in, artists like Cyrock, not just 1 million sold on one album, every single that she ever put out, 1 million is the limit. This should be she should be 1 million plaques. Soul Messiah should have 100 plaques.
Facts.
The Scorpion King album that's about to be 10 years next year.
That should be double diamond by now. What the fuck are we talking about?
The Scorpion King album is almost a pinnacle album in the history of God hop or even hip hop. Diamond. So that's why we know that humans are not human. It just don't. So yeah. Engineered consensus. And to find out this is what's been going on the whole time, I'm sure people are feeling like, damn, it was rigged the whole time. Yes, indeed. It most definitely was rigged. It was rigged and it is rigged. And the next time you go and play in somebody's Las Vegas, chances are you should read the rules of the casino. Because it's not the rules of the land. It's not the rules of the land. So the rules of the internet, this military apparatus, is not the rules of the 2D world that we live in, the physical world that we wake up in every day. Engineered consensus. Algorithmic systems are highly effective at shaping narratives. I mean, it's shape or be shaped at the end of the day. I don't know what world people exist in, but to where I'm from, it's shape or be shaped, kill or be killed, eat or be eaten, cook or be cooked. Algorithmic systems are highly effective at shaping narratives. They lead to an 89% rate at which bot networks successfully create artificial consensus around target narratives, blurring the line between genuine and manufactured belief. This machine-heavy environment doesn't require conspiracy to shape behavior. The economics of automation make it inevitable. Bots and algorithms naturally amplify content that repeats easily, stirs emotion, and drives engagement metrics. This means outrage, right? Race bait, outrage baiting, spectacle, I show speed, right?
All that coonery, the modern minstrel show. Yeah.
The modern minstrel, right? That spectacle and modern narratives rise to the top automatically. And you've seen the Kirkwood, right? Modern even modern narratives. Look, Charleston White is not. He's living a martyr's narrative. He's not yet a martyr, but he's still leading a martyr's narrative because he brought it up already, and he already instructed what it is. He said, "I know what the risk is. I know what can happen. However, right." So shit like that made him more viral than if he acted like he was scared and didn't even acknowledge it. No, he walked into it like, yes, I know what comes with this.
Bought on. As far as we know, shit, he might be. What's the European version of Cuba? It's like, he might be in the Swiss Alps somewhere, just locked in. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, did I say No, I said Charleston White.
Oh, you said Charleston White. I thought you said Charlie Kirk. No, my bad.
No, what I'm saying is Charleston White. No, I mean Charlie Kirk, right? Yeah, but he might be in the Swiss Alps. But Charleston White is also living the martyr narrative because he goes against so many different. He's putting himself in the crosshairs. He's putting himself on the cross. He's making anything. He's making any result of whatever he says and done a martyr narrative. So I don't know if CK did that, right? But I know that the people who got behind him, they crafted the narrative immediately in 47 minutes to shape the story like that. So Charleston White
was to die, would we even be able to come to that kind of a consensus about him? To even, you know what I'm saying? Like to rally the people around. Like I think that's my main like point of contention in terms of how they weaponize these very obvious signs and symbols that they get for their agenda versus how we take and weaponize opportunities that we're given to do the same thing.
Our martyrs are different than theirs, right?
True. That is a fact.
Purpose. Tupac had the martyr narrative. Everybody likes to see a car crash. Tupac had the martyr narrative. Anybody who willingly goes out and says, "I'm ready to die for this. I'm ready to die." The name of the album from Biggie is "Ready to Die." That niggas paid attention. They was like, "You got my attention." You know what I mean? The last song was, "I want to go to hell. I'm a fucking piece of shit. Ain't hard to fucking tell." Like he caught people's attention with that. The martyr narrative. You get people's attention. So the white boys is running around talking like that. Yeah, they got following. They even got cult like followings. Charleston White has a cult like following. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. The martyr narratives rise to the top automatically, creating what appears to be organic cultural consensus, but is actually manufactured weather patterns of meaning. When Charlie Kirk was assassinated, the initial wave of mourning and outrage was amplified by thousands of bot accounts that had been programmed to detect and boost death-related content featuring conservative figures. It was already sitting there, automated, waiting to boost any type of death-related content featuring conservative figures. They have figured out how to use the internet, while some of our people have not yet. To be honest with you, they have not yet. They haven't mastered it. These automated systems don't understand mourning or politics. They simply execute engagement optimization protocols. Right. Bots in Botswana just waiting for the calls. They chilling, eating Jollof rice, nigga, and waiting for the call. They're chilling.
We could be utilizing the same shit.
Right. The bots watching Beyonce, waiting for the call. Nobody's calling them. The Europeans is hitting them up though. You know, putting them to work.
And getting their narratives together.
Getting their narratives together while the brothers and sisters stand on couches.
Yeah.
And get their pictures and their poses together.
I just want to know how many times can you go to the same fucking party before the shit die? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I guess that's where we kind of get into the the transition out of that Biggie era of things, the party and bullshit, you know what I'm saying, Puff Daddy and all that. Like all
But
these things
remember,
have
it's
to
part
go.
of the simulacra because in the
Yep.
club is where you get to go into your imagination and you begin to live like the artist simultaneously. You get to be vicariously live through the artist through the
Mm-hmm.
songs. In a dark room with the lights out, you got the spirits, you got the sacraments, you have the sex magic, you have the attraction, you got the magnetism. All of the ingredients to a ceremony is right there. So I do get people going to the club every night or every other night. I do get, because that is still real interaction. That is still the scene that's seen in
True, true,
Zion
true.
and the Matrix when they were partying in Zion, where they had that rave.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's still magic. That's
Hmm.
still a level of real, right? Like I'm touching ass, like I'm touching
Mm-hmm.
grass and I'm touching ass. I'm winding up on a bubble, right?
Facts. Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's natural. Like, I'm really alive at that moment, especially if I have control over myself and I'm mastering myself at that moment, then I'm really alive. So
Mm.
overdoing things is where we come up short. We do shit,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
overdo it.
yeah, yeah.
There's a time and a place for all rituals. It's just not every night wasting. And you know what I mean? Because if you would throw 30 bands on a bot farm in Botswana, then going to the spot to throw 30 would make sense because you
Yeah,
done
I'm
make
cool with that.
300.
All right, you done handled the work. Now we
You
can
done
get to the
handled the
play.
now
Yeah.
it's but nobody's doing the work and they just doing
Mm.
the other part. So it's completely a shit show. The memetic priesthood, the memetic priesthood, ritual and weaponization, the transformation of random deaths into sacred martyrdoms doesn't happen automatically. It requires skilled practitioners who understand the ritual mechanics of meaning making in digital environments. I'm gonna let that sit there. No, I'm gonna let
Mm.
I'm gonna let you add on to that.
Yeah, let me jump in on this one real quick. Boom. So where we at? Where we at? So the transformation of random deaths into sacred martyrdom doesn't happen automatically. It requires skilled practitioners who understand the ritual mechanics of meaning making in digital environments. So again, this is where you're dealing with niggas who understand the core principles of branding, marketing, and advertising. Because all of that boils down to how do I manipulate human consciousness to toward a desired outcome, right?
Right, right.
So from 4chan's original meme magic experiments through Reddit's coordinated campaigns to the professional influence operations of political movements, a specialized priesthood has emerged that treats symbols not just as jokes but as spells. So we're dealing with the 2003 to 2010 era. This is Chan culture formation, right? So 4chan establishes the the foundational grammar of the internet ritual. So we have dubs, we have gets, we have repetitive posting patterns, and the treatment of coincidences as meaningful synchronicities.
Right.
So if I look at this shit and say, oh, it's wild that Asada's passing around this time where her narrative and what she's doing is actually a viable countermeasure to the Kirk narrative and what they're doing. Interesting that
It
that would
wiped
happen.
yeah, it wiped it out.
There you go, because that's all I see now.
It collapsed it. It
There you
collapsed it.
go.
It immediately collapsed it.
There you go.
It immediately collapsed it. It's a light that would shine that
Hmm.
shit that false light that the Kirk shit had people blinded by that false light. The Asada shit completely collapsed it because Asada is the Remic. She's the garlic. She's She's Alice, and and Charlie is Remick. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
She's the garlic. She's the light. You dig?
And
And
she here to
yeah,
clean that boy up. Yeah, no, she's really here
clean
to
them
clean that
up
boy
real.
up.
Yeah, clean that shit up. Clean my timeline up real quick,
That's a
immediately.
fact. Immediately, all I could see was just conversations about Asada, conversations about real deal liberty and freedom, and now niggas are more open to having these more communal, socialized kind of conversations where we're now really getting to the fact that like, nah, this rugged hyper individualism only works for them because that's how they get their shit off. It's either they're infighting amongst themselves or they're banding together to kill everybody else. You
Right.
see what I'm saying?
And
But we
control
have to
everything
develop
try
a
to
different
sort them out.
system. That's a
Right.
fact.
Let's continue.
So we move from 2010 to
Hold
2015.
on.
This is
I'm sorry, we didn't get into Keck. Keck emerges as a chaos god
where is
right after the synchronicities. So real quick,
yeah.
because like you were bringing up with the synchronicities, and then you made that example, right? So I want everybody to know that the same example, like we'll have an example, like all right, Baba Samaj may transition, Asada Shakur may transition at the same time in the news. They're talking about interstellar objects coming into our orbit and
There we
whatnot,
go.
and you know, a once in a lifetime thing, a phenomenon. So it's like elders are catching a ride where they're walking through certain doors right now.
Doors. Hmm.
Doors are opening up. It's like, yo, the train is coming back around, and it ain't gonna come back around for a very long time. So either you come on now or your ass gonna have to wait, you know what I'm saying, until we get back again. But that's synchronicities. That's our community looking metaphysically through our metaphysical lens. We're not waiting for the news to report that. We're not allowing somebody to think for us, to tell us how to think and see things, right? We're gonna form hyperstition. Enough of us say that it's real, then it becomes real. So they have things on their side, like they might say, yo, Hulk Hogan died, Ozzy Osbourne died, and then Captain Kirk died, right? They might be like, yo, Van Holla is open for bookings. You know what I'm talking about? Like they might have a Nordic Airbnb launch party or
Shit.
something, a third right motherfucking homecoming, if they wanted to frame it like that, if they see it like that. So these are the things that happen in a lot of communities. But let's continue.
Boom. So that's where we're dealing with Keck emerging as a part of that 4chan community, as one of the, I guess you could say, the centralizing meme of that culture. You see what I'm saying? They
Right.
all gravitate and revolve around that Keck Pepe symbol, right? That's they bat symbol in the sky. That's how they know when to gather around and collect with one another.
Right.
So now we're dealing with 2010 and 2015, which is Reddit amplification. Subreddit communities develop sophisticated coordination techniques. The Boston Marathon bombing misidentification incident demonstrates how crowdsourced investigation can be weaponized through collective belief. So basically, these boys can throw off real deal investigative agencies with straight lies.
Right.
Like these boys can actually throw the FBI for a fucking loop while they're in the middle of a national manhunt. You see what I'm saying? Like
Right.
this is the FBI who we also think has all of these available resources are getting outplayed by niggas on the internet using hyperstition type logic.
Game culture.
Straight game culture, straight game theory, bro. These niggas are playing game theory with the government now. Just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind that all of these things are very possible. We're showing you all of this to show you that you have answers with which to respond. Because if they're capable of it and they don't even got the melanin, imagine what you could do with your imagination, your melanin, and your Botswana.
Right.
So this is where we get to 2016. Meme magic goes mainstream. Trump's election marks the first time Chan culture's ritual techniques successfully influence national politics. Pepe the Frog transforms from cartoon to hate symbol through coordinated memetic engineering. 2016 is also when they said that the internet died.
2016 is also when they said the conscious community died. But let's go.
Boom, 2016 is the apocalypse. I don't doubt it.
No, that's 2017. That's the apocalypse, I believe.
That's the next year right after that. All right.
Right after that, yep.
So I'll take it like boom. They started the apocalypse on us, got our numbers down, and then rolled that out to everybody else like they always do.
Mm-hmm.
So
and that was coincidentally around the emergence of the woke. The woke was emerging simultaneously. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That was manufactured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Panic put out a lecture chopping up that woke shit and basically saying, yo, they're going to use that as the thing to shut y'all down.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But then they're also going to uplift Trump to knock him off because they're trying to knock off all of that alt-right white nationalist bullshit. They don't want anything to do with that either. So 2020 to 2025, professional memetic warfare. State actors, political organizations, and corporate interests adopt Chan technologies at industrial scale. QAnon demonstrates hyperstition's power to create parallel reality systems. These niggas are creating parallel alt realities that run side by side with yours, but yet are not connected to it, but somehow yet and still have a non-local quantum effect on your reality that can begin to change, edit, and replace entire timelines, entire events, entire sequences. So these communities develop the core insight that symbols, when repeated with sufficient intensity, symbols, trauma, repetition, and coordination, can reshape consensus reality. Our ancestors knew this for a fact, and that's how they were able to maintain the kinds of societies that they maintained for tens of thousands of years on end. They discovered that treating memes as magical operations, aka the formulas of the Medu Neter, complete with ritual repetition, sacred numbers, and collective focus. Hello, that's why they built the temple and then invited the public to participate in the rituals. The priesthood always was doing this. Because what did I say computers were originally? Humans. Humans were computers originally. Right. So our ancestors in the priesthood were the first software engineers. They were just using humans. It wasn't this hyper reality type of technology. It was just abstract technology. We look at the human ancestral intelligence, Akashic intelligence.
Akashic intelligence.
This is where we get into that work. So they discovered that treating memes as magical operations complete with ritual repetition, sacred numbers, and collective focus could produce measurable effects in the physical world. The quantum effect is very small when it's just one person. That's why in the Bible they say, let any 2 or 3 of you agree.
Right.
And the presence of the Lord will appear in such things. You see what I'm saying? You just need to lock in with your bros, and anything you want can become reality. As long as y'all share the belief in the reality. The American dream is a shared belief in a particular reality. And it's a hyper reality because it doesn't exist in the real world. But yet niggas still are dying to get over here to experience something that they could go on YouTube and find out ain't real no more.
Right.
So the assassination of Charlie Kirk activated this entire network within hours. Anonymous image boards immediately began producing martyr imagery. Reddit communities coordinated memorial threads, and Twitter hashtag campaigns transformed his death into a political cause. This wasn't organic mourning, it was a sophisticated ritual operation designed to convert individual tragedy into collective identity programming. This is what I'm talking about. Engineering, engineering, engineering. They are not playing games. They are engineering society the same way they program computers. Because the basic science behind a computer and behind the compute and a human brain are the same thing. Cybernetics. They're the same thing. So if you want to program humans, you have to understand computer programming. If you want to program a computer, you have to understand the human brain.
Right. That's why Zuckerberg and them are majors in neuroscience.
They love psychology. They love the neuroscience. They love the neurology, the physiology of it.
Young, all that shit. All them Germans.
Yeah, all them Germans, bro. They love the Germans, the Freuds, the Youngs. I'll give Young a little more grace because at least he was willing to point and say, hey, this is from indigenous people. They've been doing this. I'm just giving it Western terminology.
Right.
Shouts to him for that. At least he was honest. Right. But they love their Germans.
Do they ever?
And even when we're talking about ontology is Heidegger, right? And Heidegger, another German tool being, what do they call it? There's two German terms that he uses. One is readiness at hand, and one is presence at hand. When a tool is functioning perfectly, it's invisible to you. You don't even notice it. It's only when it breaks that you actually give a fuck what it is. When your laptop is working just fine, you don't care that it's Apple or Mac or HP or Dell or none of that. You don't give a fuck. When it breaks, you be like, God damn it, Apple. Steve Jobs is a bitch. Like
UX and UI. User interface, user experience.
There you go.
Should I go to the next slide or we finish on this?
Yeah, we finished on this one, man.
All right. Algorithmic parasitic panopticon, the surveillance system that monitors our digital behavior, has evolved beyond simple observation into parasitic extraction. The algorithmic parasitic panopticon doesn't just watch, it feeds on human attention and emotion as raw material for profit generation. High emotion content, especially involving death, trauma, and conflict, represents premium fuel for engagement-driven business models. Damn. I'm just thinking World Star. I'm just thinking.
There you go.
Every day they gotta put bodies on it. I'm just thinking. Stephen Miller show. What's the name? The Stephen Bilko show, and the Jerry Springer show. Right? Because that it was the build up before the Ratchet era. It's the chicken feed that created the Ratchet era. Go ahead.
There you go. Let me say this. It's going to get to a point where they need the AI to generate the content because the type of gruesome shit that it's going to take to get a reaction out of these niggas, you could only prompt for it. You really couldn't without starting wholesale wars and then live streaming the war, which God knows they just might do that too.
Right.
Because we've seen it in Black Mirror. You see what I'm saying? We already seen these things already. So it's like the AI is needed because they're trying to push it to a place where the type of content that it's going to take to get the reaction out of you, it's going to need to be generated. It's going to need to be highly personalized. It's going to need to be so tapped into your deepest fears that it actually gets a reaction out of you. Again, we see all of this in the very technological heavy episodes of Black Mirror. We see it. We see it all. Like there's one where he basically puts this thing on the back of his neck and it unlocks this virtual reality video game that's based on your deepest fears. And the nigga, like, it overloaded his brain in 1 second. Literally, they turned the game on and the shit killed him.
Yeah.
The amount of fear pumping through his body, he was literally in there for hours in his mind, but he died literally 1 second after they turned it on. That's what I'm talking about. That's the type of parasitic panopticon that we're dealing with. They're trying to figure out how to turn this shit on without instant, or maybe they do want to turn it on and instantly kill all you niggas. Who knows?
Right.
But I figure they want the slow drip method that we saw in the Matrix, where they harvest the energy over lifetimes, over generations.
Right, like batteries.
There you go.
Put you in a pod.
There you go.
Agent of the Body Snatchers.
Gotta be. It has to be that.
Yeah, my mom's was like, people have turned into the pod people. So 347% engagement boost. Average increase in user engagement metrics when content involves death, martyrdom, or tragedy compared to neutral posts. 91% emotional extraction. Proportion of platform revenue generated from content triggering anger, grief, fear, or other high intensity emotions. 156 amplification factor, multiplier effect of algorithmic promotion for martyr related content compared to regular posts. Platforms don't optimize for truth, accuracy, or social cohesion. They optimize for engagement, which is a euphemism for attention extraction. This creates a systematic bias towards content that provokes strong emotional responses, regardless of its relationship to reality or its social consequences. Martyrdom content is algorithmically privileged because it reliably generates the high emotion signals that platforms can monetize. So that's the cherry on the top content, ladies and gentlemen. That is the most sought after. So all of that, the buildup of the Trayvons of the world, the Mike Browns of the world, all the way up into the George Floyds of the world. Coincidentally, you find these same platforms becoming crossing $1 trillion thresholds. So they made a shitload of ad money. I mean, they made they 100x like that, like they might have like it was cryptocurrency off of black bodies, off of the cadavers. They monetized the shit out of those martyrdom cycles. When Charlie was killed, his death instantly became valuable inventory for the attention economy. Platforms automatically promoted Kirk-related content because their algorithms detected intense user responses: mourning, anger, political mobilization, conspiracy theorizing. Each click, share, and comment generated revenue for platform owners while deepening user investment in the martyr narrative. This economic structure means that martyrdom isn't just culturally constructed, it's financially incentivized. The algorithmic parasitic panopticon has evolved to treat human tragedy as optimizable content, creating a feedback loop where artificial amplification makes certain deaths more social. Hold on. Makes the deaths. Can you read that? Because the slide thing is in the way.
Makes the deaths. Where you at?
It makes the deaths more socially real than
other based purely on their effectiveness and engagement bait.
So for everybody in the audience who may be trying to figure out, well, what exactly does this mean? Like, where do we see this? Where's an example of this other than Mr. Kirk, Captain Kirk, right? I would say one of the easiest ways to point out to what we call the martyrdom, right? Because it's different levels of martyrdom. But the martyrdom aspect is dead rappers get better promotion.
That's a fact.
That's the loop that we content that involves death, martyrdom, or tragedy. That's the whole drill rapper movement that went uber
Bingo.
viral from 2012 all the way up into like they had their crescendo in 2020 with Pop Smoke, and then he gets
Yes.
bodied, and they haven't really popped off. They didn't peak
Much since
after
then.
that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
the
it was the
children of the
8 year
corn
run.
ritual is over.
Yeah, that was the 8 year ritual, a death ritual of algorithmic parasitic panopticon, where remember Captain Kirk and Nick Fuentes are from the suburbs of Chicago. So and
Children
they
of the
both
corn.
they children of the corn who are all they're aligned with the yays of the Chicago yay. They're aligned with yay,
Mm-hmm. Children of the corn.
right? Yeah. Malachi
Ooh.
and them, you
Mm.
know. But you can you read some?
Yeah. I'll jump in.
Let me go to the next.
So, military tech fusion, the same algorithmic systems that optimize martyrdom narratives and social media are being directly ported into military targeting systems. In June 2025, the Army created Detachment 201, commissioning tech executives directly as lieutenant colonels without traditional military training. This represents a formal merger of platform logic and warfare logic. The same systems that decide which content gets promoted are now deciding which targets get eliminated. So, Detachment 201 executives include Shyam Sankar, which is Palantir's chief technical officer, Andrew Bosworth, which is Meta's chief technical officer, Sam Altman, OpenAI's chief executive officer, and then Palmer Luckey from Anduril, which is again another Lord of the Rings reference, right?
Right, boy.
Yeah. So algorithm crossover, engagement prediction models adapted for targeting prioritization, content virality algorithms repurposed to predict information warfare effectiveness, all propaganda machines. User behavior tracking systems converted to movement pattern analysis for kinetic strikes. Basically, they want to know all your movements so they can clap you at the perfect time. Digital to kinetic pipeline. The Pentagon's Replicator program aims to deploy thousands of autonomous weapon systems by 2027. Why the rush? These systems use the same machine learning architectures that power social media recommendation engines. So that means that Facebook, Jack Dorsey, Zuckerberg, you name them, Bezos, all of them, if they got a social media platform or something akin to a social media platform, they're a part of it. Liar Cohen, you see what I'm saying? All of them boys. All of them boys are on the same one thing. And the same one thing connects right back to is it really? So they're optimized for rapid decision making and scalable deployment, right? The US Army, the US military already has this quasi global coverage, right? Where they can essentially strike you down from or drop a nuke on you from anywhere in the planet. It doesn't matter where you are, right? So now they're optimizing that even more. So now they don't have to blow up a whole city. They can just blow up your room and get you clean like that. So 342% military clearance growth, increase in Silicon Valley executives holding top secret clearance since 2020. If that doesn't make it obvious what's going on, I don't know what will. $47 billion in military AI budget, Pentagon spending on AI weapon systems in fiscal year 2025. If that doesn't make it obvious what's going on, I don't know what will. 78% algorithm crossover. Percentage of military targeting systems now using modified social media algorithms. So they're targeting you based on Twitter. They're targeting you based on Instagram. They're targeting you based on Facebook, on MySpace, on the fuck. It don't even matter if the social media app is still in use today. The old data is even better. That's before they started really manipulating you niggas with algorithms. That's the raw data. All right. So the convergence means that the techniques perfected for manufacturing martyrs online are being weaponized for physical warfare. The same systems that detected Charlie Kirk's assassination potential and amplified his martyrdom narratives are now being used to identify targets for autonomous weapon strike, i.e., any of you motherfuckers that wasn't sad, you're on a list now. I hope you understand that much. You are on a list because you didn't cry. Please get that.
Sure.
Yo, all right, boom. I don't even need to read the rest. Culture war and drone war are literally running on the same operating system. That's what that means in real time. You didn't cry for Charlie Kirk. You said you was smoking on his pack. All right, cool. You're on the Minority Report.
Right.
Now you're an extremist. We're just waiting to. What's the probability that you're going to do something extreme today versus tomorrow? That's all they're waiting on. And on top of that, they're engineering the situations that would give you all the justification you need to be more radical.
Right, because low key, everybody that said Rise and Power Sada, you are on the list.
You're on the list.
Yeah, I don't want to break it to you, you know what I'm saying, but you are definitely on the list.
You are officially a black identity extremist now.
Definitely.
If they had you in the potential pile, they'd have stamped you with that big red shit. Threat to the state. You want me to read this too?
We could go back and forth. We could go.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Styles and Jada.
All right. Go ahead, Jada.
Maxwell Maltz, 1960 work, Cybernetics, revealed that the unconscious mind operates like a servo mechanism, automatically steering behavior to match whatever self-image is programmed into it. This is what Napoleon Hill talks about, right? This principle scales directly to mass behavior. Communities will unconsciously act out whatever group identity has been set as their internal reference point, regardless of whether that identity serves their actual interests. So the trigger of the dog whistle and the trigger of Captain Kirk has put all of them back on code, right? It put them back on Crusader code. The State Farm shit, the ritual, the ceremony, the thing that they just did, all of that, you know what I mean? It's putting them people back on code, right? Because they already have a group identity. And that group identity is it's an internal programming. So they keep pushing that America first and all of that other shit. And people are getting on code, snapping right on code. Individual servo mechanism. Personal identity functions as a thermostat, constantly adjusting behavior to match internal self-image. Changing this self-image through visualization and repetition could rapidly transform behavior patterns. There goes that word, repetition. Group identity programming. The same mechanism operates at a collective scale. Repeated exposure to symbols, narratives, and rituals gradually reprograms group identity, causing communities to embody imprinted roles through mimetic repetition. Martyr-based recalibration. Martyrdom events provide maximum intensity programming episodes that can instantly shift group identity set points. The death of a symbolic figure triggers immediate recalibration of what the group believes about itself and its enemies. Let's go. So, once again, for the people who might not understand how this thing works, he has clear enemies, Captain Kirk. He has documented debates, documented shows and podcasts and all type of media where he explicitly explains who he is against and who he despises and who the group should despise and who the group should have no empathy for and whatnot, right? And he's identifying on the chessboard who that group would be on the other side of the chessboard and who they are not on his side. He's identifying who is on his side of the chessboard, and he is clearly identifying who is on the other side of the chessboard and saying it in the most polite way that a European man could say it on one of those large platforms. Okay. So his martyrdom makes everything that he spoke of canon law, especially with the president embracing him, all of Congress, and they say that they're going to strike a coin or they're going to strike some form of currency with his face on it. So his enemies become the state's enemies now. His enemies become everyone of his religious quote unquote crusades that agree that they're going to ride in the crusades. Then all of the enemies are identified. And it's not just one group of people either. 67% identity shift rate. Oh, where you at, Styles?
Boom. Where we at with it?
Right here, identity shift rate.
Identity shift rate. Percentage of users who reported changed political beliefs within 30 days of exposure to martyr narratives. So 67% of people changed the outlook overnight. Come on, this is a programming ritual. This is how you get it done. Engagement increase of 156%. So there was a rise in political content sharing after exposure to martyrdom programming compared to baseline activity. Again, we saw the timelines. They were literally posting every single second of every single hour of that entire weekend about him. On and on and on. That's every conversation that took over. So again, it shows you how they can increase the engagement and they can change the identities. And it only took 21 days to really do it. Right? That's really all it takes is just 3 weeks. And they say the news cycle is really only like 2 weeks. You see what I'm saying? So for this one, they're going to give him a full month and a half.
Right.
They're not going to let this shit go. They're going to keep finding new ways to spin off the conversation.
Yeah, as it begins to unravel.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see 21 days where this story, what type of legs it has after 21.
Matter of fact, we should spin the block and do a lecture call or like a presentation, a little live stream called 21 Savage. Straight up.
Let's do it. Shit, let's do it. Let's do the countdown.
Yeah, no, we need that. Yeah. So all right, officially, family, there is a now. Let's go back to September 10th. So what we got, the 31st, the September 31st. I don't remember, but essentially we're looking for those 21 days, right? So basically, till the end of the month, keep your eyes very, very peeled.
Facts.
The Stop the Steal movement provides a perfect case study of this process. Repeated exposure to election fraud means gradually reprogram millions of Americans to see themselves as defenders of democracy under attack. When this identity programming reached critical mass on January 6, 2021, the crowd automatically acted out the role that had been imprinted through the months of mimetic conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Kirk's assassination activated similar programming protocols. Within hours, his martyrdom narrative was being used to recalibrate conservative identity around themes of persecution, resistance, and justified retaliation. They're trying to adopt the Christ narrative because they're the Antichrist. They're trying to adopt the persecution. Oh, woe is me. Why forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do.
Right.
Jesus was a resistance force against the Pharisees and the Roman government at the time. You see what I'm saying? And then he spins the block with a sword in the mouth on the second coming to get his lick back.
Right.
So they're taking that same narrative and running.
How Peter Thiel does Antichrist lectures.
Yep. You see what I'm saying? So feedback loops and identity calibration. Once the servo mechanism of group identity is triggered, feedback loops lock it into place through the combination of social reward and punishment. Every like, share, comment, threat, or attack reinforces the programmed identity, creating an escalating spiral where the group becomes more committed to its assigned role with each iteration cycle. So there's the positive reinforcement loop, which is social media metrics, all the vanity metrics that provide immediate dopamine reward for identity confirming behavior, i.e. good boy syndrome, good girl syndrome. Users unconsciously repeat actions that generate positive feedback, gradually intensifying their commitment to the program group role. So if you feel like Kai Sanat changed, if you feel like I Show Speed changed, it's because they're chasing the metrics. So whatever is going to get them more of the engagement, that's what they're going to do.
Right.
Same thing works on the political level. Whatever's going to get them the engagement, that's what they're going to do. That's how Trump got in office. He spoke to a marginalized feeling within the white community and then locked them in.
Yeah, he found his base and then he zeroed in on that niche and locked in and began speaking directly to them.
If you're smart, you'll look at Trump as a brand and you'll understand that he is actually one of the best brandsmen to ever exist.
Right.
Because again, he identified an audience, figured out what their pain point was, and then became the avatar of the solution, the final solution. Word to Hitler's Germany.
Word.
All right. So we have the negative reinforcement loops, threats, attacks, criticism. So this is what the melanated community is getting right now. From opposing groups, paradoxically strengthening in-group identity by confirming the persecution narrative, right? So Black people already feel that we have been unfairly and unduly handled in America. Now we're seeing what is a very obvious play in real time, and we're being attacked for speaking on it with a level of cognizance and clarity that goes against the typical narrative that is spread about us, that we shouldn't be smart enough to notice these advanced moves, quote unquote. So that's really what that's pointing to. External hostility validates the martyr complex and justifies escalation of defensive behaviors. So this is why, again, Asada dying and that becoming the general narrative of conversation now is very interesting, because she promoted a very militaristic view of Black nationalism. So again, we're seeing how the negative feedback has now brought forward one of our greatest figures, who is essentially going to lead us into a narrative of, you better be able to protect your neck, nigga.
Right.
All right. Martyr event recalibration. Major martyrdom events function as system resets that can instantly shift identity set points across entire communities. The death of symbolic figures provided maximum emotional intensity that overwrites previous programming and establishes new behavioral defaults. So we have identity amplification of 89%, increase in group identification metrics following martyrdom events compared to baseline measurements. This would be all of the hashtags and dog whistles and things that, you know what I'm saying, let the in-group know, hey, I'm one of you.
Right.
234% behavioral escalation, rise in aggressive political actions, you know, all of this. Oh, yeah, you killed the last person that was willing to talk. You killed the last person that was willing to... They ready to, you know, clap some shit now. So within 60 days of the major martyr programming. So again, We're not even 2 months out, and they've already doubled. They've already doubled the amount of hateful ass shit that they're putting into the air. All right. 156% narrative commitment. Increase in resistance to contradictory information after identity program has been activated through martyrdom, i.e., all of these niggas on TikTok that's doing all the deep dives to prove how this is some government orchestrated shit. They're basically talking to the void. None of that matters. None of that matters. Not to the group that they're trying to convince, because the niggas that were already convinced of it are already convinced of it. They already knew this was a setup and a play. It's the motherfuckers who are about to go to war that need to be convinced that this was a setup and a play. But they won't accept that, because in order to accept that, they'd have to accept that their enemy is in the house with them. And they don't like they really don't like committing violence against each other the way they like committing violence against the rest of us. While they'll do it to assert a level of dominance, and they'll do it based on nationalistic ideals or classist ideals, they really don't like it. They'd much rather kill all of you wholesale, right? So that's why when Charlie gets clapped, they have this reaction. But when George Floyd dies, they're basically smoking on his pack.
Right.
This is the same conversation. So this feedback structure means that martyrdom events don't just create temporary emotional responses. They permanently recalibrate group behavioral patterns. So basically, this is like mass PTSD. This is wide-scale PTSD. This is post-traumatic slaver disorder. They miss when they had you niggas in chains, bro. They miss it. They don't like working this hard for anything. Again, in their doctrine, they're the chosen people. All the rest of you goyim should be working for them. So this is post-traumatic slaver disorder. You see what I'm saying? They want to go back to the good old days of not cheap labor, free labor.
Free, right.
That's the peak of capitalism.
Well, they got that.
They don't want to do this techno-feudalism shit.
Right.
So once a community has been programmed to see itself as under existential threat through martyrdom narratives, every subsequent interaction either validates the programming through supportive responses or strengthens it through hostile responses. So you can't win for losing. If you hate them, that's going to make them stronger. If you love them, that's going to make them stronger. The best thing you could do is to completely ignore their existence. Again, their real fear is not the genetic annihilation. That's one side of it. The deeper play is the ontological annihilation, when we stop caring if they exist or not. That's when the parasite really dies, because it's feeding on your attention.
Right.
Why did they program it this way, if that's not what white people were feeding on this entire time? It's the attention that they get from doing all this weird shit. It's the stories that the Illuminati may not even really exist like that. That may be a fan fiction that they adopted from the public.
A hyperstition.
Just so they could have the hyperstition.
Right.
Which then makes the Illuminati real. They probably didn't have any infrastructure that they needed to actually pull off no shit like that. Now they do, because we believe they do.
Right. They gave them a lot of power.
And this is why we have to go back to their God, Yahweh. The demiurge was not given primal creative power. All he can do is twist, manipulate, and distort what has already been created. So if Yahweh wants something done, he has to convince you to do it on his behalf. This is why the whole promised land, all that extra shit, that was the trade-off. Hey, yo, if y'all do this for me, y'all can have the land. Y'all can have whatever.
Right.
I just need y'all to go genocide everything.
Right. Go wash them niggas up.
Just real quick for me, since they want to do all that hocus pocus medu netra shit, and I'm not really with that hocus pocus medu netra shit that they doing. Let's get to the real sauce then.
Right, spin.
Spin, big spin.
Spin. I ain't talking about city either.
Nah, not at all. Spin the block for me.
Spin the Blockington. So let's go to the next slide.
Yeah, go ahead, family.
All right. Case study. Meme martyrs in action. The weaponization of digital martyrdom has evolved rapidly over the past decade, progressing from grassroots Chan culture experiments to sophisticated state-level psychological operations. Each major case study reveals increasing systematization of the process, with human ritual specialists gradually replaced by automated martyrdom production pipelines. So we see in 2016, that's the meme magic era. All right. There was a war that took place in 2015, 2016 with these underground occult groups. Mostly manual operations by Chan culture priesthood. Pepe the Frog transformed from cartoon to political symbol through coordinated posting campaigns, low automation, and high human investment. Then in 2020, you have the QAnon systemization. Semi automated networks amplify martyrdom narratives around Jeffrey Epstein, Seth Rich, and other figures. Bot networks begin supplementing human ritual specialists. Then in 2022, algorithmic optimization. Platform algorithms increasingly favor martyrdom content due to engagement metrics. AI generated conspiracy theories and memorial content began appearing at scale. 2025, industrial martyrdom. Charlie Kirk assassination demonstrates fully automated martyrdom pipeline. Bot detection, narrative generation, and amplification occur within minutes of death announcement. All right, so they go to metrics again, 47 minutes to trending, right? They couldn't even do this. This was this was the data that they've been able to scrape off of this is it's crazy. 73% bot amplification, 2.3 million narrative variants. Can you explain what that is? Narrative variants?
Narrative variance. So this is where we get from. So all right, you're in the universe. When you're dealing with narrative variants, you're getting into the multiverse, fan fiction, spin-offs, reboots, all that shit. They're creating derivatives of the original story, which was already a simulacra.
Right.
They're creating more hyper reality. They're branching off. They're fractaling the story. You see what I'm saying? And creating derivatives, right? So the same way you have Peter Parker as Spider-Man, you also have Miles Morales as Spider-Man. These are narrative derivatives of one another. They tie back to the same one theme. Some nigga inherits the powers of a spider. They all go back to a Nancy. So they're all narrative derivatives of a Nancy.
The progression from 2016 to 2025 shows clear systemization of martyrdom production, where early operations required dozens of human coordinators working for weeks to establish a single martyr narrative. Current systems can detect potential martyrs, generate operative content, and achieve viral amplification within the first hour after a death announcement. The industrialization of digital sainthood represents a fundamental shift in how political identity is manufactured and distributed. Martyrdom has become a predictable product with measurable market effects, deployed strategically to influence elections, policy debates, and social movements according to algorithmic optimization principles. So another thing, that shit with homie getting shot in the air is part of the martyrdom hyper pipeline. because him getting shot in the Trump getting clipped in the air, that was the martyrdom. That was the martyrdom program at work, because it got him all the attention that he needed to basically smash this shit, and the results are the election.
So he won 2 elections off some mean shit. So now he set the play for this is how you run the game now. You don't actually need to be a politician to do this. You need to be a meme god.
Gotta be a meme god. Look, 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's another break coming up. We're gonna take another bathroom break, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back. Take this time to go ahead and get your tickets. Let me put the banner up. Remember, use the promo code MAGAFest. All right, I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. Make sure you go and get your tickets, and we will see you at the lecture mañana. Okay, we will see you at the lecture mañana. Go ahead and use this time, and we're gonna be landing the plane and whatnot. We're gonna be landing the plane, but yeah, we'll see you at the event mañana. Yeah, pay us in crypto though. You could pay us in fiat, but remember, pay us in crypto. Diamonds is dancing.
Niggas in crypto, diamonds is dancing like they up in disco. You niggas in fist pump, you stay up at dip low. You niggas stay up and get low. Heard you way up in Frisco, and you say what the heck so. Every player get snipped nose, acting gay up in Cisco. Might take the day off and play up at Ristos, causing chaos and play up Calypso. I pause in kitchens and caused addictions. I pause prescriptions and cause inflictions. Lil Bixby playing in stores and bricks and on the dark web. You gotta pause every doors, cause encryption. Tesla engines, pause the pistons. I seen every floor I leave sore enlisting. Enlist for that action, they sponsored the Bronson. They was hooked on that shit like Johnson and Johnson. That freeway, Ricky Ross, straight out of Compton, straight out of Bumpton. Red on blue, violence in the land. The projection of the will, the perfection of the kill, the reflection of the pills. I'm a frontline soldier, I'm no doja. These crystals not for niggas in crypto. Diamonds is dancing like they up in disco. You niggas in fist pump, you stay up at dip low. You niggas stay up and get low. Heard you way up in Frisco, and you say what the heck so. Every player gets snips now, acting gay up in Cisco. Might take the day off and play up at Pistols, causing chaos and play up Calypso. Hickory dickory down, hit a lick, put the sticky in the box. When the blicky get hot, lick off a shot. Heavy in the pedal, we slip off a knot. Heavy in the ghetto, they crib walk a lot. Crib walk the crypto, lift off the stocks. Drips off the crystal and pots. Disco rods in the blocks on my chain from the crystal shop. In the light there, lift off the rock. Toe from the right chain on my block. White paint on my socks. White paint on my socks. Hickory dickory dock. Hit the lick, put the sticky in the box. When the blicky get hot, lick off a shot, we lick off a shot. Payers in crypto, diamonds is dancing like they up in disco. You niggas in fist pump, you stay up at dip low. You niggas stay up and get low. Heard you way up in Frisco, and you say what the heck so. Every player gets snips now, acting gay up in Cisco. Might take the day off and play up at Pistols, causing chaos and play up Calypso.
Yes, indeed. Do you have any words you want to leave the family with?
Let's see. I'm definitely super excited about tomorrow, everything we got cooking. I seen somebody in the chat say this should feel like an initiation of its own right, and that's exactly what it should feel like, because we're not having this conversation just to have this conversation. We're having it for the sake of really activating you all as our community to help us, push our hyperstition, our hypersigils, you see what I'm saying? Right. To create a narrative that empowers you. Again, this is the Asada Shakur protocol, algorithms of war, you see what I'm saying? Algorithms of sovereignty, algorithms of liberation. So again, we all have the power in this moment to make a meme, to create a narrative, to drive that narrative. We can utilize Botswana just as much as anybody else is utilizing Botswana. These algorithms don't actually care about the narrative that's being pushed as long as it gets the engagement that it desires. And that in itself becomes the seed by which we can use to make this thing cannibalize itself. So that's really what I gotta say. Just a little message of hope and empowerment for the niggas out there that are hearing this message, that like what they're hearing, and want to take it to the next wave. Hit us with the memes, bro. And, we need the meme god. Shout outs to the Black Zionists in the chat.
Facts. Need the meme gods, y'all. This information is for educational purposes only. Let this be the seeds that grow the oak trees. We hope that this is able to help you with your vision to see the invisible prison and break out of it. All right. Tomorrow we'll do the full dissecting and the dissertation. Blue Pillar, Red Pillar, and Hitsayu Aku are going to make history. Make sure y'all are in the building for American Gods. All right. MAGAFest Destiny 2.0 only on Zoom. Shout out to all of my Patreons. We do this every month. You know what I mean? This is a gift for our patrons every month, but we give the family the opportunity to be there as well. And tonight we are giving a 30% off for the tickets. All right. Tonight
let's go.
Promo code MAGAFest at checkout. You get 30% off. Promo code MAGAFest at the checkout. You get 30% off. All right. The link is in the description. The link is also in the chat. And you can find it on Buy Me a Coffee. Tickets are on Buy Me a Coffee. Tickets are on KTL University. Tickets are also on Eventbrite. All right. American Gods, MAGAFest 2.0. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if there's nothing else to be said, I want to say good night. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your attention. I hope you walk away learning something. Go and do more research, right? Go and, keywords. We've been dropping keywords all night. Panikapaton. Yeah. To explain to them what that means.
Which one?
The panopticon.
Yes, that's the all-seeing eye, right? It's the concept of the all-seeing eye. It's not a new concept. It's not a purely modern digital concept. You see what I'm saying? Tied to the surveillance state. This is a deep occult symbol. We can see it on the back of the dollar. It's also known as the Eye of Providence. You see what I'm saying? Right. It is a reference to the third eye. But again, these niggas are taking ancient indigenous symbols and flipping them for their own hyperstition purposes. So when we think about the panopticon, we want to think about a prison where all they have to do is watch you. That's it. They don't need to put you in chains, behind bars, none of that shit. Just the fact that they're watching everything changes and manipulates the way you behave. And that's some deep human psychological shit. So we're just talking about aesthetics and the nature of perception with that one.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, I want to say thank you for joining us for another Saturday Night Live. You are now rocking with the best. Yes, we will see you in class tomorrow on Zoom. Look out for the links, ladies and gentlemen. They will be in your emails. We will see you in the building. And yes, it will be available for replay. You'll have opportunities to see it in perpetuity. You can pause it, rewind it. I think it might go. It's gonna hit. It's gonna go into the. We're gonna be burning the midnight oil. We don't really have time limits.
Big time.
Whatnot, huh?
I said big time. I'm definitely trying to get my little shit off. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. So we'll let the people tell us what they want to do. But we'll see y'all tomorrow on Zoom. We'll talk about it, and then we'll get in the kitchen and start cooking. All right. So with that being said, peace, love, and light. All right. Pay us in crypto. One more again. We're going to run it back. Blah.
Pay us in crypto. Diamonds is dancing like they up in disco. You niggas in fist pump. You stay up at dip low. You niggas stay up and get low. Heard you way up in Frisco. And you say what the heck so. Every player gets sniffed out. Acting gay up in Cisco. Might take the day off and play up at Mistos, causing chaos and play up Calypso.
I pause in kitchens and caused addictions. I pause prescriptions and cause inflictions. Lil Bixby playing in stores and bricks and on the dark web. You gotta pause every doors, cause encryptions. Tesla engines, pause the pistons. I seen every floor I leave sore and listing. For that action, they sponsored the Bronson. They was hooked on that shit like Johnson and Johnson. That freeway, Ricky Ross, straight out of Compton, straight out of Bumpton. Red on blue, violence in the land. The projection of the will, the perfection of the kill, the reflection of the pills. I'm a frontline soldier, I'm no doja. These crystals not for
Niggas in crypto, diamonds is dancing like they up in disco. You niggas in fist smoke, you stay up and dip low. You niggas stay up and get low. Heard you way up in Frisco, and you say what the heck so. Every player gets snipped now, acting gay up in Cisco. Might take the day off and play up at Pistols, causing chaos and play up Calypso.
Hickory dickory down. Hit a lick, put the sticky in the box. When the blicky get hot. Lick off a shot. Heavy in the pedal, we slip off a knot. Heavy in the ghetto, they crib walk a lot. Crib walk the crypto, lift off the stocks. Drips off the crystal and pots. Disco rods in the blocks on my chain from the crystal shop. In the light there, lift off the rock. Toe from the right chain on my block. White paint on my socks. White paint on my socks. Hickory dickory dock. Hit the lick, put the sticky in the box. When the blicky get hot. Lick off a shot, we lick off a shot.
Players in crypto, diamonds is dancing like they up in disco. You niggas in fist smoke, you stay up and dip low. You niggas stay up and get low. Heard you way up in Frisco, and you say what the heck so. Every player gets snipped now, acting gay up in Cisco. Might take the day off and play up at Pistols, causing chaos and play up Calypso.